Can you imagine holding a single penny in your hand, something so ordinary that most people wouldn't even bother picking it up if they saw it lying on the ground, yet that tiny piece of copper could actually be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars? That's the magic of the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny. At first glance, it looks like just another old brown coin, but what if I told you that some of these pennies have sold at auctions for prices that could buy you a brand new car, or even make a serious dent in your savings account? Suddenly, that little coin doesn't feel so ordinary anymore. The story of the 1953 Wheat Penny is fascinating, because it's not just about money. It's about history, rarity, and the excitement of finding hidden treasure in the most unexpected places. These pennies were struck over 70 years ago, during a time when America was booming after World War II, when families were buying homes, kids were watching black and white TV for the first time, and life was full of optimism. Every single person back then used these coins for daily purchases, never thinking twice that one day they might become highly sought-after collectibles worth thousands of dollars. The design itself is iconic. On the front is the face of Abraham Lincoln, the great president whose leadership changed American history forever. Above his head is the phrase "In God We Trust," a motto that still stands strong today. On the reverse are two stalks of wheat, framing the words, 1 cent. It's a design so simple, yet so meaningful, that it became one of the most loved coin designs in U.S. history. That's why people call it the Wheat Penny. But what makes the 1953 version stand out? Well, millions were made in 3 different places: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a small D, and San Francisco with an S. At first, it might sound like they're common, and in average condition, they are. You can still find them in jars or in old boxes, and most are only worth a couple of cents. But here's the catch: when you find one in pristine condition, with sharp details and glowing red color, its value shoots up into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors will pay incredible amounts for the best-preserved examples, and that's where the magic begins. For example, a normal 1953 penny in circulated condition might be worth just 5 or 10 cents. Nothing special, right? But now imagine the exact same penny, perfectly preserved, never touched, blazing with its original copper-red shine. Suddenly, that coin isn't just worth cents. It could be worth $200, $500, even $1,000 depending on how perfect it is. And in the rarest cases, when the grade is nearly flawless, some have sold for over $25,000. Think about that, a 1-cent coin selling for the price of a luxury car. Now let's talk about something even more exciting: errors. This is where things get shocking, because mistakes at the mint turn ordinary coins into extremely valuable treasures. Imagine a 1953 penny where the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" appear doubled, because the die struck it twice. That's called a double die error, and some of these have sold for thousands of dollars. Or maybe you find a coin where the D or S mint mark was punched more than once, creating a shadow-like effect. These repunched mint mark pennies can be worth hundreds, sometimes even more. But it gets wilder. Off-center strikes, where part of the coin design is missing, can be worth hundreds or even thousands, especially if it's way off. And the rarest of the rare. A 1953 penny accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal. Imagine finding a penny that was mistakenly struck on a dime planchet. Suddenly, that 1-cent coin could be worth tens of thousands of dollars, more than enough to change someone's life. And yes, this isn't just a dream. Real examples have been found and sold. A 1953 S Wheat Penny in nearly perfect condition, graded MS67 plus red, sold for over $25,000 at a major auction. A 1953 D in similar stunning condition brought nearly $15,000. Even a regular Philadelphia 1953 penny, if it was flawless and had that fiery red color, sold for more than $7,000. It's absolutely incredible when you think about it. Something as tiny and overlooked as a penny can become a treasure chest in your pocket. Collectors love the 1953 penny for more than just its value. It represents an era of American history, a time when coins weren't just money but also pieces of art. The wheat stalks on the back symbolize growth and abundance, and Lincoln's portrait reminds people of strength and leadership. For many collectors, owning one isn't just about investing, it's about holding a small piece of the past in their hands, a connection to their parents and grandparents who once used these very same coins. And here's the exciting part: you might already own one without even knowing it. Check that jar of old coins in your home, search through rolls of pennies from the bank, or take a second look at the change you get from a store. That ordinary-looking penny might actually be a rare 1953 wheat penny with a hidden story and a shocking value. So how do you know if you've found something valuable? Start by checking the mint mark under the date. If it's an S or a D, you could be looking at something special. Next, examine the condition. A coin with bright red luster and no scratches is worth much more than one that's dark and worn. Don't forget to look closely for doubling, mint mark errors, or any signs of being struck incorrectly. And if you think you have something valuable, the smartest move is to send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, because a certified grade can take your coin's value to the next level. At the end of the day, the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny is proof that treasure can be hiding in plain sight. Most people overlook pennies as worthless, but collectors know better. In fact, some of these pennies have changed hands for thousands of dollars, surprising people who once thought they had nothing more than spare change. Just picture it. You could be holding the next $25,000 penny in your hand right now without realizing it. That's the thrill of coin collecting. It's not just about money, it's about the chase, the discovery, and the story each coin carries. And the 1953 wheat penny is one of those coins that keeps collectors searching,